Hello and welcome back to another episode of She Talks Business. I am Lisa Larter and I am excited to kick off what may be the last season of She Talks Business for 2022. And this season is called Coach's Corner, and I have got a treat in store for you. I have invited some of my clients to come onto the show to talk about their businesses, to talk about the strategies that they have put in place to get the biggest wins in their business. And I've done this for a reason. I coach a really diverse group of people. I coach men and women and even some couples. And I want to kind of deconstruct their businesses and get them to share their best practices with you so that, when you're listening to this show, you can be learning from some of these really smart people, because I'm sure that they're doing things in their businesses that could be hugely valuable to you as well. I also know that Q4 is typically the time when we're all thinking about what do we need to do to make the next year a really, really good year. So as an introduction to this season, I want to just talk to you a little bit about, do you really need a coach? Like, do you need a coach, or can you just go it alone? Because, I got to tell you, there are times when I work with a coach and there are times that I don't work with a coach. And so I thought I would start by sharing a few things with you that you can think about or consider when it comes to coaching. So number one, the first thing that you should consider is, are you coachable? So I joke that sometimes I have a coach and sometimes I don't. And the reason that sometimes I don't have a coach is there are seasons in my own business where I don't feel very coachable. I feel like I'm heads down, getting work done, and I don't feel like I need the guidance to get to the next stage. That's not what my focus is in that moment. There are other times when I absolutely need a coach. There are times when I'm banging my head up against the wall and I can't figure out why I'm not able to move forward. I'm not able to reach the goals that I'm set, or the same problems are showing up over and over again. So I think it's really important for you to think about whether or not you are actually coachable when you hire a coach. Because a lot of times, at least in my experience, the people that have had the most success working with me are people who are highly coachable. And the people that haven't had the most success with me are the people that are the yeah butters. They're not exactly coachable in that moment. They maybe have a little bit of fixed mindset going on, but they think that if they hire a coach, they can say, well, I hired a coach and maybe that will help me. You've got to get honest here. If you're not going to be coachable, then you don't need a coach in your corner. But if you are running into the same problem over and over again, then chances are maybe you need to be open to some coaching and you need to have a growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset. All right. Number two, is there a goal you keep missing? For the longest time, I could not get to a seven-figure business. I would get so close, and then it was just like it felt impossibly hard for me to break that seven-figure mark. And now that I've broken it, I've broken it for, I don't know, 5 years, I think, or more now. But in that season when I wasn't able to do it, after a period of time, I finally said, I need help. I'm not able to do this on my own. So whether it's hitting a certain sales number in your business, whether it is writing a book, whether it is launching a program, an event, whatever that thing is, maybe it's even something inside of you. It's maybe your leadership, or maybe you're blocked on showing up and creating content. But if there's something that you keep putting off, if there's something that you want to do, but you're not getting to it, chances are some coaching could help you. And so I want you to look back at your goals for 2022 and 2021 and 2020. And I want you to think about, what are your goals for 2023? Is there something on that list that's been on the list for 3 years that hasn't happened yet? My friend, that is a sign. That is a sign that you need help. And likely you need a coach, an advisor, somebody who can help you make that goal happen. Number three, I love this one. Do you have the if then when attitude? If I make enough money this year, then I will hire a coach when I have the money to do it. Now, you guys hear me talk about money on this show all the time. I am not suggesting that you go take out a line of credit or max your credit card or any of these things. But if you're waiting until you've got a cushy cash flow to invest in yourself, it's like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? If you keep waiting and waiting and waiting to get the money to invest in health, then chances are you're never going to get to a point where you can invest in health. So start asking yourself the opposite question. How would my behavior and attitude change if I actually went out on a limb and invested in myself? I still remember the very first online program that I bought 15, 16 years ago. It was $2,000 online, and I didn't have the money to buy it at the time, but I did. And I put it on my credit card, and I promised my husband that I would 10x the value of that program and pay it off. Well, my God, my whole business model has been based on that one program. 10x, I've probably like 1,000x the investment, if not more than that. I've generated millions of dollars in my business because I took that first step. So stop waiting for when the conditions are perfect. The reason the conditions aren't perfect is because you need help. You're going to keep delaying the inevitable if you keep waiting and waiting and waiting. The next thing is, do you believe in investing in you? Do you believe in yourself? Are you willing to bet on you? Because that's what investing in you is really all about. When you invest money in working with a coach, you're not investing in the coach. You're investing in you. The coach isn't going to do the work for you. You got to do the work. So you're investing in yourself. You are investing in the belief that you have the ability to change and do what is required to get to what you say is your goal. So when I invested in this course many years ago, I knew that I was all in. I was committed. I was doing it. There wasn't anything going to stop me. I was going to be like both feet, both hands in, and I was going to make this right, because there was no way that I was going to tell my husband that I was investing money that I didn't have in something and then not do the work. Because that's a danger zone. That's the quickest way to create money problems in your relationship, is to invest money in something and then not follow through. That's why spouses don't support entrepreneurs. It's not because they don't support your desire to be an entrepreneur. It's because they don't support your laziness. They don't support the fact that you don't do what you say you will do. But in order to do what you say you will do, you have to risk failing. You have to risk making mistakes along the way. And if you are a recovering perfectionist, then maybe you'll be a little bit afraid to make mistakes. You have to get over that, because you cannot grow a successful business without making mistakes. I've been in business since 2006, and I still make mistakes every single day. And I still have my team who makes mistakes every single day. And I have to learn from those mistakes and move forward in spite of those mistakes. If you're trying to grow and build this business with the absence of error, you're telling yourself a delusional lie. It is impossible. Ask any entrepreneur who has achieved any success if they've made mistakes, and they could probably write a bigger book on the mistakes they've made than a book on the things that you should do. So invest in you. You have to be willing to bet on you. All right, the next question. Will you do the work, or will you work on excuses? I see both. I see both in my coaching practice. And the people that work with me that do the work are the people that get the results. The people who work with me who have a reason why they didn't get to it every single call are the people that are still in the exact same spot a year later. So you have to ask yourself, if you're going to make this investment in you, are you willing to get uncomfortable enough to do the work that is required for you to have the life and business you want? You have to, because if you stay the status quo, it's never going to happen. So if you work with a coach and they tell you, try this, do this, and they're sharing with you the things that you should do, you owe it to yourself to at least try to do those things. Do them and see if they work for you. Otherwise, you really won't know if your coaching has been effective or not. Number 6, coaching is about changing your behaviors and regular habits or patterns. Are you open to change? One of my favorite books is Mindset by Carol Dweck. She talks about a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. A growth mindset means you are open to new ideas. You are open to growth and possibilities. You are open to change. You have a curious mindset, and you are open to doing things differently. A fixed mindset is no, I'm not going to try that. No, I'm not going to do that. No, that doesn't feel right to me. No, I don't know how to do that. No, that's a little bit scary, so I'm not going to do it. It's very closed and rigid. It's defense. It feels like you're defending all the time. So if you are being guided by somebody and you find yourself resisting and making up excuses for why it won't work, you're demonstrating that you have a fixed mindset. Even if you're an employee in an organization, if somebody's trying to explain something to you and all you're doing is shutting it down and explaining why you did it the way you did it, that's not a growth mindset. That's a fixed mindset. A growth mindset would say, tell me more. Help me understand why. What did you mean by that? Why does it work that way? Why doesn't it work when I do it this way? They're inquiring to understand versus advocating why they've done it the way they've done it. If you are stuck in advocating instead of inquiring because you're really serious about change, you won't get the change. So if you're not prepared to change your habits and change your behaviors and the patterns and the ways you do things, nothing is going to change. Don't spend your money on a coach. You know, the coaching journey is really about you transforming the way you show up and do work and being open to doing things in a different way. And you can't do things differently without discomfort. Try writing with the opposite hand. It's going to feel really uncomfortable, but guess what? If you do it every single day for 30 days, you're going to be able to write with the other hand. It's the same in business. If you would just lean into the discomfort and go, oh, this must be good. It's uncomfortable. Therefore, it's new. Therefore, it's not the same. Therefore, I'm probably going to get a different result. That's when you know your coaching is working. Number 7, do you invest in baby steps or do you go for the gap? There's another episode on here where I talk about it's either an episode or a blog post that I wrote, Tale of Two Coaching Clients. So 2 women start their business at the exact same time. One invests in working with me and one invests in working with another coach who is maybe a step ahead of her in business. The person who invested in working with me fast-tracked her business, got ridiculous results. I was able to sell her business and has started another business and has engaged me for coaching in this brand new business because they want to take leaps. They don't want to take baby steps. The other person, their business is virtually the same as it was when they started. And it's because the gap isn't big enough. Don't hire a coach that's one step ahead of you. If you're trying to get 6 figures and your coach just hit 6 figures themselves, there's not enough distance between where they are and you are for them to really help you. If you want to hit 6 figures, hire a coach that's done, 500, 700 or $1 million or more in sales, because they're going to stretch you and help you get there so much faster because they have all of this distance between where you are and where they are. But when you hire somebody that's just one little step ahead of you, well, guess what? They're still learning. They need to take another little step themselves and again and again and again. And so you're literally going to be taking baby steps behind them. Whereas if you hire somebody and there is a significant gap between where your business is and where their business is, you're going to have a quantum leap in terms of growth. The opportunity for growth is magnified by the distance between where you're at and where your coach is at. Yeah, the person who's close to you, they're probably charging less. But you have to ask yourself, what is the ROI that you want from your investment? Would you rather invest $2,000 to get a $5,000 return? Or would you rather invest $25,000 and get a $500,000 return? It's a big difference. So look at the gap between the investment and the gain that you really want in your business. If you're trying to grow your business by $100,000 this year and you think that you can hire a coach that charges $100 an hour to help you do that, it's not necessarily going to work because the coach is charging $100 an hour for their business knows that they probably can't show you how to add an additional $100,000 in your business. Heck, I tell people I'm going to help you add $100,000 in the strategy lab, and that's a $3,000 program. And I already have one person who's done it, and the year isn't even out yet. So I say this to you because I see people play it safe in coaching, and they're not really hiring a coach, they're hiring a tutor that is like 1 grade ahead of them. So if you really want massive growth in your business, look for the gap. Don't look for the shortest distance, look for the longest distance between where you are and where your coach is. And then the last thing is, do you like guidance and feedback? Or does it make you uncomfortable? Because a really good coachable person wants constructive feedback. They want guidance. They want to be told where they're doing things wrong, but you have to have enough self-esteem to realize that that feedback is coming from a place of trying to help you reach the goal that you've set out to. So if you shrink and you get all defensive and you have to curl up in a ball and cry because somebody's pointing out opportunities for you to do a better job to reach your goal, then you're not ready for business coaching. Maybe you need some life coaching. Maybe you need a therapist. Like I'm being serious here. If you really want things to change in your business, you need to change the things you're doing. And if you're not open to guidance and feedback on the things that you're doing wrong because you take it all personally, you're never going to get to where you want to be in your business. That is more of an esteem issue than anything. And a business coach is not there to build your self-esteem. That's not what they're there to help you with. So if that is something that's going to get in the way of your results, find somebody who can help you with that before you hire somebody who is a business coach. Now, I want to wrap up by sharing 7 things that my best clients do, because I've just shared a bunch of questions with you. And now I want to share some things that my best clients do that you can borrow and maybe try on with whoever you're coaching with. So number 1 is they trust me. We have a high degree of trust. When I tell them what they should do in their business, they trust me, they trust the advice, they trust the intention, and they have a high degree of willingness associated with that trust. If you don't trust the person that you are being coached by, it's going to be really hard for you to operationalize the coaching. Number 2, they are willing to experiment. They're willing to do things that are different and outside of the zone of normal. I once threatened to fire a client because she sent me a message and told me she was going to charge a client a certain amount of money that was like way below her pay grade. And I said, if you charge that, you're fired. I'm not working with you anymore. And guess what? She took that seriously and she stepped up and she charged a higher rate and she got the higher rate. So are you willing to experiment? Because my best clients are willing to experiment. Before they poo-poo something, before they say it won't work, they will at least give it a shot and see what happens. So be willing to experiment. Number 3, they are willing to ask for help. They're willing to send me a text message or an email and say, Lisa, I'm stuck. I need help with this. Can you look at this? Can you give me some feedback? I need help. I keep saying I'm going to do this and I'm not doing this. I don't know what's getting in my way. Will you help me? So they're willing to ask for help when they know they need help. They don't see asking for help as a sign of weakness. They see asking for help as a sign of strength. They see asking for help as the way to get through whatever it is that's preventing them from getting what they want. My best clients share where they get stuck. It's number 4. They're vulnerable. They'll say, Lisa, I'm getting tripped up here. This is not working for me. I'm having a really hard time with this. I need this broken down into smaller steps. I don't understand how to do this. They're not afraid to be vulnerable about where they're experiencing discomfort that is preventing them from moving forward. So if you're willing to be vulnerable and honest and share where you get stuck, your coach can help you. But if you're not willing to be vulnerable, your coach can't help you. They also celebrate all of their wins with me. And that makes me happy. That makes me feel valued. That makes me feel like we're working in partnership. So they work hard, but they also are celebratory in nature. They're willing to double click on the things and say, look, I did this. Look how it turned out. Look at how many views I got here. Look at how this went. Look at how, they want to celebrate their progress and their wins. In fact, a number of my clients show up for every coaching call and they start with, here are my wins since our last call. And I love that because when you shine the light on your wins, you shine the light on your successes, it's helping you to build confidence and belief that you can do hard things and you can get wins from doing those hard things too. Number 7, they work with me long-term. I have a coaching client who's been with me a decade. And I have several coaching clients that have been with me in the 3 to 5 year mark. And the reason that they work with me long-term is because they don't see this as a transactional experience. They see this as a relational experience. It is very, very, very rare for someone to work with me for a year. In fact, most people who have only worked with me for a year are not in a super coachable mindset. They're not necessarily the right fit. And it's a very small percentage of people, but most people work with me for at least 3 to 5 years, and they keep working with me long-term for 2 reasons. 1, we keep setting bigger goals and they keep getting results. And 2, they see me as someone who is constantly investing in my own learning. And because I'm constantly investing in my learning, I'm continuing to keep the gap between where they are and where I am. And so they continue to feel like there's still more to learn. When you feel like you have nothing left to learn from your business coach or advisor, it's time to shop a new coach. And I am just a passionate and I can't speak here. I am a passionate and avid learner, which means I'm always learning. I read every day. I'm always doing things to expand my knowledge. And so because I'm always doing that, they're wanting access to what I'm learning, because access to what I'm learning is shortcutting the learning for them. So find a coach that is continuing to invest in themselves so that you can literally shortcut your learning through their learning experiences. And then lastly, although I don't ask them to do this, my best clients tell other people about me. My best clients refer their friends and colleagues to me. And they do it because they're happy with the results they've gotten, and they want their friends and their colleagues to have the same great experience. There's no greater compliment to a business coach or advisor than when a client recommends their services to someone else. You know you have done good work when the people who work with you trust you enough to recommend you to other people. So there you have it. My best clients trust me. They're willing to experiment. They're willing to ask for help. They share where they get stuck. They work with me long-term, and they tell other people about the work that we do together. If you don't feel that way about the person that you're coaching with, then maybe you're not coaching with the right coach. I hope that this episode has given you some food for thought, some things to think about. 2023 is just around the corner, and I feel like we're at the beginning of a new era. I feel like, I'm feeling very optimistic about us heading out of this season of COVID. And I feel like there's a lot of new beginnings on the horizon. And while there's a lot of doom and gloom about the economy right now and inflation, I feel like people who own their own business are the people that have the most control over those things. And so I'm hopeful and optimistic about the upcoming year. And I hope you're hopeful and optimistic. And I hope that you are willing and really thinking about how you can invest in you to have the best 2023 yet. If you are interested in investing in you in a program with me, and you would like to consider the Strategy Lab as a starting point, we have a planning session. It's a full day planning sprint coming up in November. I highly recommend you reach out to me to get more information about that. It is a great first step if you're trying to grow your business by at least 100K in the next 12 months. It's a great place to start, and the investment is only $3,000 a year. So I hope this was a great episode for you and that you got some value from it. And I look forward to sharing some amazing stories and people with you on the upcoming episodes of She Talks Business. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.